You're listening to the best small business podcast, where we deliver powerful insights, breakthrough ideas, and simple solutions to make your business unbelievably successful. I'm Rich G.
And I'm BJ Flagg, and this is episode 183. Look at the data. Insight, intuition in digital times.
That's a mouthful.
It is, but I got to tell you, this is my favorite subject.
I know, this is your subject, yeah, because today most businesses are awash in data. I mean, we have so much thrown at us, from QuickBooks to PayPal and
and POS scanners, and then everything having to do with insights, and there's just tremendous amount of data.
Yeah, but we don't know how to turn it into actionable information. That's the thing. We have all this data, but how do we make it into actionable information and make it work for us?
Exactly. Rich and I are going to help you today, but we don't want you to be overwhelmed. This is the biggest part of this episode.
Yeah.
We are not going to do the overwhelming thing.
Yeah, it's like the third rail. Data is the third rail of business. Because
Agreed.
There's so much out there. You dip your toe in there and you go, oh my God, there's just too much. I don't have time for this. We want to make it easier for you.
Yeah, definitely. We'll jump right in.
Well, tip one is understand all of your data funnels first. What do you have at your disposal? Which ones do you have an enormous amount of info in?
Yeah. And, which ones are orphans where you just never check them? Rich and I were talking about analytics, Google Analytics for the website. Is that one that you check every day? Do you check it once a month? Yeah, that sounds a little bit better.
Yeah, figure out, like I went the other day to look at what are my most read articles, and surprisingly, it was one I didn't expect to be. So guess what? I'm going to write another article on that.
Yeah, perfect example.
And if you're totally, go for it, BJ.
Take advantage of the experts too in your circle. You've relied on marketers to help you in the past, accountants, vendors. Those people all also have some incredible insights to provide to you.
I mean, if you're overwhelmed by QuickBooks, sit down with your accountant. And this is their life. They could show you so many different things in 5 minutes that you could do with QuickBooks.
And they might tell you, these are really the only 10 data points you need.
Yeah.
And they just saved you about 10 hours.
Yeah. I'm going to be open kimono here. Working with my accountant, she said, Rich, don't use QuickBooks. You can use QuickBooks Sole Proprietor. It's for your business. It's perfect. And I use it and I love it. I love it. It's great.
And I think, then you look at the type of work I do. I need a little bit more of a robust solution. But here again, I have a certain amount of data points. I'm not looking at every single thing.
So don't try to do this all yourself. We're just trying to better understand what data systems we have and what information they can provide to us.
Exactly. And you know what? The best part of this is that, say if you do this every 6 months, you can always find a system that, will work fantastic for you, right?
Yeah.
I think if you're not using a certain system, just cancel it.
Yeah. And I do that. I'll go on and I'll go, I'm paying for this thing. Am I really using it? No, I'm not. Cancel it, save money. And that's why I always tell my clients, never pay for a yearly subscription. Pay monthly. It's a little bit more money, but you can cancel it anytime.
Exactly. Now, tip number 2 is, what is the information that I'm looking for? So you just went over and you understand your data funnels. Now, what information am I looking for? The data point collection needs only to relate to the conclusion you want to review. Back when you were in corporate, didn't it seem like ridiculous the amount of data that you had to collect, and you didn't even know why? And think of the bare minimum at first. How much money do I take in? How much money goes out? Then build from there. It'll slowly get you to be where you want to be.
Absolutely. And then create a sheet and track the data. This is like your custom dashboard. It's open all the time, ready to review. Create a new data point or add the data, but do not close it.
Yeah, this is a big issue.
Yes.
We need a whole range of data. Definitely think of all the way from the marketing campaign insights all the way through the sales conversion path and then into sales. You have to think of that whole wide range because somewhere in there, there's going to be a blip or something that's happening, and you need to make sure that you've collected that data.
Yeah, it's a simple exercises to look at your entire client list and who are your top 10 clients, or do the Pareto rule. Who are the top 20% that deliver 80% of your revenue? Maybe you treat those clients differently. Maybe you
Yeah.
work with them differently. But if you haven't done this analysis, you don't know who they are. And it's surprising sometimes how often you find new bits of information.
Yeah. And you might notice that after a while of doing this, you're going to be able to project. And let me tell you, that is fantastic because it's all based on your data, not some trends in the industry, but exactly what's happening in your company. So you'll get hooked.
Now that you've looked at all of your data funnels and you've actually figured out what information are you really looking for, we want you to connect the dots together and target the specific data that you need. See, that's the thing. When you're looking at all this data, you get overwhelmed. But when you start to go in like a surgeon and target the specific data, it gets a lot easier. So, this is where you need to focus. Now that you have your data funnels and your list of information, you have to connect each together.
Yeah. And, again, if the thought of doing this is overwhelms you, then you need to work with your circle of experts, your marketers, your accountants, your coaches, and such. You need to get to the point where it doesn't you fret to look at the sheet. You don't want that. You
Yeah.
want to be engaged and excited. So you got to work at that a little bit.
A thing that I do a lot with clients, and BJ, you probably do it too, is sitting down. Who's your primary client? Who
Mhm.
is your favorite client? Who's your best client? Let's define them. And
Yeah.
and sometimes when people try to do this themselves, they get overwhelmed. But it's like when you're working with a partner, it makes it more fun. They actually pull it out of you, and you're like, you feel incredible afterwards.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
you're going to thank us. You'll be finding out new insights and better understanding who your customers are and what sales marketing avenues are really working for you.
And this will allow you to make clear, more educated decisions about, what you do and what you stop doing. And it'll save you time and money. So you got to do it.
What's tip
um,
4?
Review and define the data. So when you're looking at everything that you're collecting, we told you do not close your dashboard. And we can't stress that enough. You're trying to review everything every day, just a little tiny bit, because at the end of the month, you're going to be able to look at it and say, oh, wow, look at that. Every mid month, this happens. So you really need to make sure that you're reviewing in tiny little, nibbits of information. You'll be happy that you've done that throughout a month.
It's kind of funny, bring people in the company into the data where they can be helpful. The
Yeah.
bookkeeper should give you data points that relate to part of the business, and the marketing group needs to give you their responsible numbers. Same with sales. Listen to your employees too. They can add valuable data points. See,
Hmm.
it's like you talk to your accountant, they're going to give you the right numbers. You might have good guesses, but they're going to give you the exact information.
Yeah. And I think what's interesting is there might be a couple of data points that you collect over time, you kind of find them that are indicators. And those become the most valuable data because an indicator gives you a 3-month out view of something.
Yeah.
Rich and I were talking about, how do you know what, a spring cycle, like if you're busier in the spring, you're busier in the autumn. If you knew indicators, you would be a happy camper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, all good stuff. We have a fantastic resource for you today.
Yeah, a great book. It's one of the dummies books. And sometimes people go, I don't want that. There's some of the best books out there. This is Big Data for Small Business for Dummies. And it's by Bernard Marr, Marr. And it's an incredible book. Again, they run about 200 to 300 pages, but they're so super simple. It helps you understand what data really is and how you can analyze it and use it to improve your business.
I think the part that I like most about it is it's free of all the confusing jargon, and it kind of takes you through the step-by-step guidance and helpful advice. So you're not, you're not overwhelmed by just all the words that get in the way of the data for the small business. So it's an excellent thing to gain some great organizational skills around your data.
Absolutely. It shows you how to use big data to make sense of user activity on social networks and demonstrates how to capture, store, and search and analyze. And it also helps you turn data into actionable insights. This is, if you liked what we spoke about the last 10 minutes, you're going to love this book.
Exactly. And I think when you're looking at something like this, I always say, if you get 2 or 3 little nuggets of information out of the book, it's a winner. So I think you'll love it.
That's it for today. And sponsoring our podcast today is New Renew Brand Marketing. If you have a startup or just starting a new division, BJ's firm will act as your marketing partner to get it off the ground. Branding, brand messaging, websites, and support materials, BJ's team does it all. So go to newrenew.com and check it out.
And if you're looking for a new direction to grow your business, you definitely need to speak with our other sponsor, Rich G, who is a certified high-performance coach who helps hundreds of business owners grow their business. I'm personally speaking from experience. Check him out on richg.com and have a conversation with Rich. I promise he will deliver at least 1 or 2 great ideas to help grow your business. Thank you to our producer and editor, Richard Scalzo, the man who makes everything happen, bringing you the best small business podcast every Tuesday. Have an unbelievable week.
Catch you later.